Someone said it in a comment. Hey, everybody, welcome to What's Happened in Central Oregon, your every 2 week live stream video talking about what's going on here in Central Oregon, business, economic, development news.
Yeah.
John Crom, my wife Shannon Crom here, and we're going to get into some stories today.
Let's do it.
Talk about the drama. What are we talking about today?
Well, some bullet points here. State partners with insurance industries to help keep premiums down.
Yep, that's a good one.
That is a good one. I like that topic.
Yep. Galveston Avenue is about to undergo a huge facelift.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah. Talk about the trauma that's going to go on there. Some exciting
trauma.
Things. Well, it could be for some local businesses.
Inflammatory word.
Yes, exactly.
Ben's new utility buildings are in Juniper Ridge is coming together.
Finally.
That's open.
Nobody even knows about that. So we'll talk about that as well. Mm-hmm. Small business news, food truck is getting a new brick-and-mortar location, and Elk Lake Resort's got new owners. And then, of course, breaking news. We can go ahead.
Breaking news. We'll save that for later.
Yeah, okay. We'll save the breaking news.
Could Oregon be getting a Major League Baseball team?
That was serious.
Oh, yeah.
And what the heck would actually pay for a brand new stadium? I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, Oregon, this is another new thing that passed. Oregon Senate passes a bill to speed up construction efforts, right? If you've ever built a new construction or a new development or anything and you need to get permits, sometimes it can take forever. So
I glanced at that real quick and I thought it meant like increase the speed on highway. Like I just glanced at it and I was like, oh, that'd be great.
65 mile an hour is okay. 45 on the parkway. Yeah, that's a little slow.
I mean, who goes 45 on that way?
Nobody. All right, so let's go ahead. No, 60 is the speed limit. Might as well be. It's how fast everybody goes in the parkway here in town. Okay, so let's see. First story that we're really going to jump into is state partners with insurance industry to help Oregon homeowners with wildfire prevention. Now, Governor Tina Kotek signed an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. It just means
memorandum. Okay.
Yeah, an MOU.
Yeah.
With the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety, which oversees the Wildfire Prepared Certification Program. This program offers homeowners in California and now Oregon certificates for undertaking specific wildfire prevention work around their home. So currently, these certificates don't actually mean anything in Oregon. It means something in California. But the idea is that it could help reduce the cost of insurance because the company is supported by major insurance companies like State Farm and Farmers. So basically, the way this works is you go through their certification program. The main thing is like you got to get a 5-foot border around your house, defensible space around your house, so you can't have flammable things, in California.
Tree branches hanging over your house, fences that come up to your house,
right?
That kind of stuff.
So you can't have things that are close that could cause your house to
catch on fire.
Yeah, and then what they do is they give you a little certificate. You can renew it every 3 years, and the idea is that if you have this certificate, then you will. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick here. Boop, boop. How about that one? There we go. State partners. There you go. And so the idea is that if you do this, you'll get a reduction on your premiums.
Yeah.
Now, in Oregon, I'm thinking it'll reduce your premiums a little bit if you have this, but in California, you kind of have to have this period to get insurance because there's so many insurance companies out there that won't even cover anything.
Yeah.
So,
which I think this is a good initiative for a lot of people, homeowners, to make them do these defensible spaces around because it's, they're going to get the cut on the insurance, which in certain areas, that could be a huge savings. And so, the cost benefit to that is a good encouragement for some homeowners.
Exactly. Let's see. Homeowners submit $125 to get their certificate after they do the work.
They have to pay $125 to get
the little. There's always a.
So you got to pay for the inspector to come out to make sure that you do.
But look, if it saves you thousands of dollars on your insurance, because in California, and there's a lot of areas in California where you can't even get insurance.
Yeah.
And you can't get it without this particular certification. What I would assume. Now again, Kotek said that helping Oregonians to afford to prevent wildfires from burning up their homes is still a priority for her. The legislative session's not over, and they're hoping to get something like this in there to where it will basically help this. Because right now, again, it's just an MOU. It's
Mhm.
just saying, yeah, hey, we want to have a relationship and help people get lower insurance rates. But in either case, I think this is really positive news.
It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Especially for certain
totally agree.
areas in Central Oregon that, you know, insurance has gone up a lot. So
Anything can help. And so, yeah, again, I would love to have, you know, trees right next to my house and flammable vegetation right next to my house. However, that's probably not a good thing. So, you know, sometimes we go down to California and there's, like I said, there's just like a 5-foot sidewalk
all the way around the house.
all the way around the house. But
Yeah.
I mean, if that makes that big of a difference,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
Right? Why not? Okay. Cool stuff. Next
Cool
up,
stuff.
this is something that I saw a news story on a business, and how they were not going to renew. And it's a beloved business by a lot of people here in Bend. It's actually Boss Rambler.
Yeah.
And they are going to close their doors. Well, they didn't re-sign their lease, so they're terminating
they have
their lease.
a new tenant coming in there.
Yeah. And that was kind of like, oh, wow. That's kind of weird because everybody likes that place. You go there, they got the beers. It's a lot of fun. It's right on Galveston.
Hoodies.
Great hoodie.
They got great marketing.
Great marketing. Why did they leave? And then in this little tiny line, and I didn't know this was happening, shame on me, little tiny line, they were talking about the new Galveston Corridor Project.
Yeah.
I was like, what's that? So Galveston Corridor is about to be torn up just in time for summer tourist season. Yay. They're going to be turning it into a boulevard, and they're going to be tearing up that whole Galveston Corridor right there. Let's see, this is kind of where the Deschutes River, the little bridge there, goes over the Deschutes River from Drake Park downtown, all the way on up to like the Victorian Pantry right there. That whole corridor. What are the businesses there? We've got.
Oh, you got, well, now it's El Sancho. You have Tin Barrel. You have Sun River Brewing. You have Big Ol' Bagel. You got the
John's
7-Eleven. You got a couple of pubs in there. You also have, isn't there a pierogi place? No.
I don't even. There's
dumplings,
a lot. There's a lot.
City dumplings.
There you go. Yeah, there's a lot of businesses right there.
Pierogies, dumplings. Yeah.
But they're looking to tear up that whole, and it's a really.
Korea. I'm still going on food.
Okay, fair enough. Good call. There's a lot of development going on. I mean, that's a really main corridor. Like if it's summer, you're walking up and down that. But if you think about it, there are a lot of improvements that could be done to that particular corridor, right? I mean, the sidewalk's right up against the road. Yeah,
sidewalks would be great.
Well, there are sidewalks. Well, there's sidewalks on part of it, but you're right. There's not sidewalks on other parts. And then because across the road, there's a couple of homes that are still there, like just homes. And there's the one with like the kind of chicken wire fencing, and they've got a garden, and they got, all that stuff. But there's no sidewalk there. You know what I'm talking about. And so, yeah, improvements could be made, especially since it's such a vital and kind of key corridor right there for Bend, downtown, kind of, so, that whole area. So here's what they're doing. They're turning it into a boulevard. That's literally the spot right there. And the design is complete. They've got everything they're going to do. And I couldn't find a fee and a budget for this. I couldn't figure out how much this was going to cost. It cost them almost $500,000 to just do the design. So I would imagine that $500,000 to do the design. But I couldn't find a total budget here for doing this project. But here's what it's going to look like. I mean, this is great. It's going to have the kind of the greenway space in between the road and the sidewalk, which is great. And then it's actually a boulevard, which means they're going to have a median through the middle.
And then they're going to have turn lanes, so you can utilize both sides.
Right.
Yep. Which immediately, that's what I was like, oh no, the businesses, if you can't, but they're going to have those spaces.
I mean, the good news is there's a roundabout right on the other side.
That's
so
true.
You can always just flip around and come back the other way if you need to.
But they're also going to have the cycling gaps, which is nice for, people. Because, you get off the river from floating the river, and then you walk up to those businesses, Boss Rambler, or you go to the food cart place and stuff, and you get some food, and then you can hop on the shuttle and go back up and float the river again. That's kind of the circuit of a lot of people during the summer.
Yes, definitely. So new street paving, buffered bike lanes, on-street parking. It's not that wide of a road. I don't know how they figured they're going to get all that in there, but on-street parking, sidewalk and pedestrian crossings, landscaping, that's great. Street lighting, stormwater facilities. This is great. This is going to really not revitalize, because it's already a really hot part of town, but it's going to make it nice.
Yeah, it's going to make it real nice.
Kind of stoked on that,
I'm just wondering, is Greenwood going to be open before Galveston's shut down?
Gosh, I hope so.
We should double check.
Should double check that.
Or just avoid downtown all summer long.
Right. Are you excited about the new Galveston project? Did you know about it? Let us know kind of in the comments, and let us know if you're stoked to see kind of a re-beautification of the Galveston corridor. I think it's going to be cool. All right, next story up. Bend's new utility campus is moving right along. Did you guys know? So if you're in Bend, raise your hand, say aye, give us a like, give us a shout out or something. If you're in Bend, you know most people know where the water department is. And if you don't, it's on Boyd Acres. That's where the water department is. And then some of the other city utilities like streets, that's water, sewer, but street department, stuff like that. They're kind of spread out. Even, the police parking, fire trucks, like there's a lot of things that are kind of spread out all over town, maintenance crews and stuff like a street sweeper, stuff like that. They're spread out all over there. Well, they're actually building a new headquarters.
Oh.
They're building it up at Juniper Ridge, and it's massive, absolutely massive. I don't see, let's see, I don't have the actual right thing in front of me, but 2 warehouse style structures. Big warehouse style structures for like parking for all of these vehicles, stuff like that. And then a versatile administrative headquarters make up the city of Bend's future public works campus, which will bring together 5 city departments to streamline operations for the growing city. So I'll go ahead and pull it up real quick here. Let's see what we got. There we go. Boom. Bend's new we got a budget on this one. $130 million public works campus is taking shape. And like I said, there's some photos here. It's big. It's big. It's also going to be energy neutral. So they added a 15-degree slant to the roof and aimed it towards the southern hemisphere there so they can capture all of the solar. So look at that thing. That is massive. A massive building.
Is that over by Les Schwab?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Juniper Ridge is over by Les Schwab on the far northeast side of town. The new campus will be a workplace.
Les Schwab headquarters, I should say.
Yeah. They'll have 250 City of Bend staff working there. Engineering, transportation, utilities, facilities, and fleet departments.
Fee and fleet
departments. The Department of Fees.
The Department of Fees.
There was here somewhere, I wanted to say it was like, I'm looking for it right now, and I'm kind of killing time on air here. 45,000 square foot headquarters.
Wow.
And I think that's just the actual, that's not even the parking garage. Like that's the other ones. So this is going to be a very, very, very big campus, right, for all of our utilities, which is going to be pretty cool. How about that? What do you think about that?
I mean, it's nice to have it all in one area. So
yeah, again, what
are they going to do with the old buildings?
Well, that's actually a good. Thank you for asking that question.
Oh, you're welcome.
So the current public water sewer department, that's actually already sold to somebody else, and I don't remember who bought it. I knew it was.
Isn't that the one that they just demolished?
I don't. Well,
no, that was the.
I haven't been by there. I don't think so. I haven't been by there recently, so I don't think so. But they've already sold that property because they own that property, and that is going to be part of what's funding this build.
Gotcha.
So it's pretty cool. Yeah, and then of course downtown is moving as well, or downtown the city headquarters, like City Hall.
Yeah.
Will eventually be moving, and that's also kind of breaking. I think we've mentioned it before, but that'll be moving over towards Hawthorne, where the other Les Schwab, old Les Schwab off of Franklin, used to be located. So it's going to kind of go in that area over there by Hawthorne, where that new walking bridge is going to be proposed or is going to be built. So yeah, a lot of city happenings. I feel like we're really, really growing up here. Got a lot going on, Next story. Oh, you know what? We got some small business news to talk about. Let's talk about that real quick.
Okay. I was going on to number 5, but number 4.
Well, why don't you go ahead and hit us with the breaking news?
Oh, the breaking news? Breaking news is 900 and Wall is suddenly closing.
Yeah, bummer.
Which is another downtown business.
Yeah. Another downtown business, well, we already talked about Boss Ramblers deciding to relocate. They're relocating basically because they don't want to be in business when Galveston is being just torn up.
Well, it's really hard for any business to sustain itself.
Yeah. I think what they did was kind of a smart move. Like, well, this summer's a bust. Let's just leave. Actually, they're staying through this summer. That's not true. Boss Rambler is staying through the summer of 2025. Then they're leaving.
Gotcha.
And technically, the Galveston Corridor Project doesn't have an official start time. They just said it's starting in 2025, but we don't know exactly when. So
I hope that it's after summer.
I agree. Shoulder season would be much better. There's a lot of freaking tourists on that road right there during the summer. So, yeah.
The 900 wall has been around forever.
Forever.
And
first time I had duck.
Duck there?
Yeah, I had duck when we ate there one time.
Oh, yeah.
Like 20 years ago on our first date. Not really, it wasn't really our first date, but yeah, it's one of Ben's high-end restaurants. It's one of the nice restaurants. And we haven't heard anything other than where they're going and what's happening, or if they're relocating or if another business is coming in, but turns out they're
revamping,
Right. The other things we were going to talk about, though, however, just another fun small business news. Abe Capanna's will become a brick-and-mortar restaurant. They are do you remember?
Is that really, is Crosscut?
Yeah, Crosscut Warming
But
Hut.
is that the pizza one?
Yep.
That has that really good pizza?
Yes. They've got a very good pizza at Crosscut and the Warming Hut, number 5. Is that what it is? And so now Abe Capanna's will be becoming a full brick-and-mortar restaurant. So that's
Where are
pretty
they
cool.
going?
You know what?
Oh, Box Factory.
Is that what it says?
Oh, no, that's parked outside. I was just...
Here's the thing. I don't know that they say.
6 years.
Can I tell you a little frustration that I have?
Yeah.
I've been using a lot of AI lately.
Oh, goodness.
And I asked AI to help me summarize this story, just so sometimes I like to put this in my own words. And it told me that it was going to go over where the Victorian cafe is.
Oh, what?
It completely, and then I read the article again. I was like, that can't be right. I read the whole article, and it doesn't exactly say where it's going. What?
Oh, it does.
What? Come on.
It says it's going over to the east side next to St. Charles. So it's probably going...
where that kind of, what was it called? Chalet or whatever?
Oh, did they close?
It could be. Yeah, they closed.
Oh, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
That would be really great, because then we would have Ablo Taco and we'd have a pizza place on the east side. That's great for that location.
So, but AI thinks it's going over on the west side somewhere, and it completely manufactured this location.
It
just made it up.
Pantry, like, been there forever.
It just made it up. It didn't say it was going like right near it or something like that. But it just completely made it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, it doesn't say that in there. And it's like, oh yeah, you caught me. AI's like, oh yeah, good of you to catch that. I'm glad you're double checking. I just made that up. AI is making stuff up, people.
It's getting a little lenient.
According to timelines in Terminator, Sarah Connor should probably be in high school right now, maybe in college. She's working, she's learning how to, maybe she's in the military because she's going to have to protect us against whatever it is, Doomsday and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Goodness, we are off topic today.
Okay, we're a little wild today. Maybe we'll talk about our next story. So yeah, Abe Capanna is moving to brick-and-mortar. That's kind of fun. Moving on, Elk Lake Resort sells to a new family. There's new owners at Elk Lake that have local ties. So that's kind of cool.
Which is great.
It's just not summer unless you've spent a weekend out.
You have to go to Elk Lake during the summer.
Yes, exactly. So they've been looking for
it's taken them 5 years to sell that.
Yeah. They had some issues the first year they went up for sale, or maybe the second year, something
Wasn't
like that.
Wasn't it like a sewer issue?
They had some septic issues the first couple of times they were trying to sell it. They had to, I don't know if they technically pulled it off the market or not, but they had to buy it right away. And it turns out there was a big septic issue. Looks like they fixed that. And actually or at least they've negotiated that into what this sale is, because in the article, it talks about how the new owners are going to be making some septic and sewer improvements to the resort. It's also interesting because it was hard to sell, and they talk about this here as well. It's hard to sell something when there's no land. This is on a government Forest Service lease, right? Similar to Mount Bachelor. There's a lot of other lake cabins around that you can buy that are on Forest Service leases. And so that's the thing. Like, you're not actually buying The freaking advertisements on here. Oh my gosh.
You are buying 13 buildings.
13 buildings. Oh.
A lodge, a cabin, general store, also boat rentals. And you're open in the winter for snowmobiles and backcountry skiing.
Summer for fishing, boating, and swimming. It's on U.S. Forest Service land and operates under a special use permit from the Deschutes National Forest.
Yeah.
We actually had clients that were pretty interested in this at one point, 4 or 5 years ago. And again, that's kind of how we know about the septic thing. Not that they were the clients that figured that out, but we had heard about it kind of through the grapevine. Property was listed for $4.5 million. And it also hosts weddings and large gatherings. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Super excited that, there's going to be some revitalization at Elk Lake Resort. It's a great place to go in the summer. And if people are going to be pouring money into that, that's just exciting. That's really good. So,
yeah.
very fun.
I mean, it's got a lot of good memories for me growing up. And I just think that it's like, you just go to that general store to get ice cream. I mean, that's why I go during the summer.
Getting ice cream at the general store there.
They could use a bigger cooler, more options, popsicles. That would be my suggestion.
More popsicles at the general store at Elk Lake. Okay.
Because that's part of the thing. You go swimming, you get popsicle, go back to swimming, and then you drive home.
Do you like baseball?
Yes, my son loves baseball.
Okay. Your son loves baseball.
Yeah, I like baseball.
Yeah. Portland might be getting a Major League Baseball team.
This is crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is crazy, but it's not necessarily a lockdown done deal yet because we need an $800 million stadium.
$800 million stadium.
Well, I mean, if we're going to have a baseball team, we need a stadium, right?
Yeah, it's got to be beautiful.
Okay, so what the heck is a jock tax?
No comment.
Okay, cool. So jock tax. So this is how they're proposing to build this new stadium. So the Oregon State Legislature has authorized an $800 million 30-year bond and designates income tax revenue from Major League Baseball players and team staff to pay off the debt. It's called a jock tax. So a jock tax. So they passed this jock tax bill and basically says like we'll build a massive.
So they've passed this.
I think either the Senate has or the House has, but the other side has to still vote on it, I believe. But part of it, it's halfway done, right? So halfway to getting the funding, they need the other side to approve it. In order to build this stadium, where does the money come from? Well, a jock tax is something that other states are doing. This is a thing that happens all over the country. I didn't even know about this. A jock tax is where like when a player's in your city, maybe from another team, and they're playing your team, or if you live here, either way. So
the Mariners come to play the Portland whatever.
The Portland baseball team, whatever it happens to be.
The Portland baseball team. I almost said the Portland Pickles, but that's not right. Isn't that the fun baseball?
I have no idea. Oh, you mean like the Savannah Bananas?
Kind of like the Savannah Bananas.
Maybe there's Portland
But we
Pickles,
have the Portland Pickles too. What was the Portland Pickles?
I don't know. Let us know if you guys know what the Portland Pickles are, if that's a thing, because I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm not a super big baseball person. I'm a hockey person, but yeah. Our son loves baseball. I'm going to have to figure that out, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
our family in Portland would be super stoked about this.
That's right. I'm sure they're big fans. So in order to pay for that, they're going to pay for the stadium on this jock tax. And a jock tax is when a player from out of the area is playing a game here, the revenue that they earn while they're here is taxed by the state. So, if you take somebody's like $600 million a year, baseball contract or whatever they're getting paid, let's say it breaks down to like, $1 million a game. Well, that's not really worth. That's $450,000 a game.
Yeah.
Well, we get to tax when they come to town. We get to tax that $450,000 that they get paid for that game. Wild, right?
Immediately thought I feel bad for their CPAs.
I know. I don't even know how they track all this.
Yeah.
Our records indicate that you were here providing physical therapy services for the biggest baseball player in the league, and you get paid really well because it's not just the players; it's like staff too.
Their medical, all of their staff. Wow.
Here, check this out. So let me finish reading this. It authorizes an $800 million 30-year bond and designates income tax revenue from MLB players and team staff to pay off the debt.
Okay, so there's a $30 million bond that would probably be the Portland homeowners would end up.
Well, no,
or they're going to completely pay for this through.
Yes, they're going to pay off the debt with the income from the. Oregon will only authorize the bond if baseball awards a team to Portland. So we don't get the stadium unless we have a team. So, and it'll only collect the revenue if there are major league players in Portland to tax.
So you still have to build the structure. You have to build it and they will come and then you can tax them.
Yeah, but when you're government, money's free, I think.
Okay.
And then you pay it back.
And then
that's
crazy.
So the bill passed Thursday, updates legislation originally passed in 2003, which allocated $150 million in income taxes generated by players' salaries for stadium construction. SB 110, Senate Bill 110, raises the cap to $800 million in public funding to help finance. Oh, sorry, excuse me. It's not an $800 million ballpark. It's a $2 billion ballpark. If player salaries do not generate
building a billion. Yeah.
$2 billion ballpark. If player salaries do not generate as much taxes as forecast, well, then Portland and Oregon aren't responsible for making up the difference. Weird. How does that work? Where does this money actually come from? Anyway, here's the story. You can find it on the bulletin. It's going to be right downtown, right on the Willamette River there, it looks cool. It looks really cool.
Okay, I apologize, my baseball people out there, but isn't there another one on a river? Where's that one? Is that Wrigley? No.
Oh, babe.
I know.
Well, like Giant Stadium is right there.
Giant Stadium. Oh, that's right. You can be in the river there. Yeah. That's where
I don't know if it's river. From. Isn't it like the bay?
The bay.
So anyway,
probably the bay.
This is interesting. This has nothing to do with local Bend news.
It doesn't.
But it's Oregon based, and why not? It's kind of fun, right?
It is fun, and it's another reason why another thing you can go do in Oregon. If you move to Oregon, you can go see a Major League Baseball.
I want a jock tax for building a hockey rink in Bend.
Yeah, how do we do that?
I don't know. I guess we need people that make money in Bend that play sports.
Yeah.
Other cities. Here's the other thing. Here's a bigger thing. This is a way off topic for us normally with this show, but here's the other thing that I find interesting. And I'm just going to use the NHL as an example because that's the sport industry that I know the most. But the best teams are the teams that are located in states where taxes are lower.
Oh.
Like right now, Dallas is one of the best teams in the NHL. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers, the two NHL teams in Florida, are two of the best teams. You probably can guess why, right? Okay, because the taxes are lower. I'll just tell you, spare you the suspense. Because if the taxes are lower, players would rather go play in a state where they're not getting taxed as much.
Oh.
So
when you're looking at contracts,
you're attracting better players.
When you're looking at contracts and you're like, how that is going to affect your overall life, you go with the one that's not.
If I can go to this city and they're going to tax me more, or I go to this city and this state and they tax me less, I'm going to go to this city and this, So it's interesting. And so, Portland's going to be taxing baseball players. That'll be interesting to see. Look, as long as if they get a team, that'd be cool. I'm all for this kind of stuff. I love this kind of stuff. The tax situation is a little interesting. And then the other thing is because they can't tax, that's the other thing. Like a lot of times there'll be some sort of bond measure that will tax everybody in the whole state to pay for a stadium, but I'm not going to Portland to watch a baseball game.
Yeah.
Some people will.
I mean, we've been to a Winterhawks game maybe once a year.
Yeah.
And I've never been to a Blazers game.
I've always wondered, how did these stadiums get built a long time ago when they were built? You know what I mean? Like, who pays for all that? How does that work?
The government.
The government. All right, let's move on to our last story today. What do I got here? Let's see. New Senate bill is attempting to tighten up the permitting process for both development and residential permits. This is awesome. So this is Senate Bill 974. It passed easy through the Senate, and it reduces the time frame for the planning department. It reduces the time that the planning department has to approve of development projects from 150 days to 90 days.
I think this is great.
You think this is great? So it might be great. So basically, have you ever, anybody listening out there, have you ever, done a build or had a remodel and the permitting process takes forever?
Yeah. Forever.
We got a friend right now?
Yes. I was going to say, oh, John, we should have a phone a friend during this podcast, and we should get our buddy, he's a builder, on the phone and put him on speakerphone and ask him questions during this. And I think it would have been so funny and so good because he's gone through total rigmarole about trying to get permits for a specific remodel he was doing for other friends of ours. And it's just been an absolute nightmare. And it constantly changes. Like, oh, you need this one thing, or now you need another thing. And then all of a sudden it goes from 3 months, 6 months, and now you're a year in and you haven't even done anything.
Yeah.
And
then the poor,
so out of control.
And then the poor, the people that are having their houses worked on, they've been in a trailer. They've been in their camp trailer for like a year now. It's so sad. It's just a bummer.
It's going to be amazing.
And that's not necessarily exactly what's happening in this situation, but it does have a part of it. So when a big developer comes in and they're doing their developments, there's a lot of things to consider, right? And so if anything kind of trips it up, well, they have 150 days to approve it. And it's like, oh, well, we've got some issues here, we've got some issues there, we've got to readdress them. This new Senate bill says you don't have 150 days anymore to figure this out. Talking to the government municipality, so it's either county, city, a UGB, area. You don't have 150 days to do this anymore. You need to make a decision for these poor people in 90 days. So get on it. I like this because it actually penalizes the city governments who take too long. On the 91st day, they can go out, they can be sued basically. Like, hey, give us a decision on whether or not we can do this development or not. And so
or a remodel or anything like that. It's just,
this applies to both developments, like a whole neighborhood. If a builder was going to do a whole neighborhood, and I think it details are a little thin here because I didn't read the entire bill, but I think it also applies to some of the smaller, like permitting things individually themselves.
Yeah.
So this is pretty cool.
I think just speeding up this process in general is great.
Yeah.
It's quicker. We can get some homes built and people can buy homes.
Yep, exactly. So let's see, Senator Dick Anderson of Lincoln City, who actually led the bill, said cutting down on the timeline to break ground is a game changer for families waiting on housing and builders ready to get to work. Today's vote sends a clear message. Oregon is ready to build. And I couldn't agree more. Sometimes, we've got clients who buy land and they're ready to build a house, and we warn them, we say permitting takes a while, and it's like, okay. And then they get into it. And then 2 years later, they haven't put a stick in the ground yet because they're still waiting and they're still waiting and they're still waiting. So Senate Bill 947 applies to cities, counties, and special districts within the urban growth boundaries. The Democratic Senate majority official said in a press release, noting without the bill, local governments can wait up to 150 days to make a final decision on land use applications. This thing's got teeth. They've got to meet the 90-day deadline or end up paying developers engineering costs and attorney's fees. Woo! Cool.
That's awesome.
So again, hopefully, most of the cities around here understand. I'm not even sharing the article here. I'll put this up here for those of you watching. Boom. There we go. Game changer bill to streamline housing development. Anyway, hopefully, this will encourage city government municipalities to act and to approve things.
Click.
Want to get rid of that little advertisement there?
Yeah.
Closing. Look, it says closing like it's working on it, but I just want you to see this next second.
30 more seconds.
So this is a really good thing, and hopefully this will help housing development. We've got a lot of projects coming soon, a lot of things going on because we need housing here in Central Oregon and across the state, really. So this is pretty cool.
Very cool.
Got any other opinions on this?
No.
Shall we go ahead and move on?
Sure.
Okay, we're done.
Oh, okay.
We've hit our time, guys. Thanks so much for sharing your evening with us. If you're watching, whenever you're watching this. Again, if you or someone is looking to maybe buy or sell here in the area of Central Oregon, we'd love to be your local real estate resource of choice. We look forward to bringing these kind of news to you every other week, and hope that you'll keep tuning in to catch our episodes.
Yeah. Leave comment down below where you're watching from, or if you have questions somewhere that you want to know what's going on with it. Those are always great because then it gives us new ideas.
Yes, definitely. If you see a chunk of dirt where it's being pushed around by heavy machinery, let us know, and we will look it up and we will tell you what's going on with that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks or whenever our next regular YouTube video shows up. Be sure to subscribe. We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye, y'all.